25-yard area. Is Brown onside? He is. Brown brought down, still to Rocco. Left foots it. Scores! Rocco Placentino off the board and in, and the Impact lead 1-0.
And what a great...
Hey everybody, Mark Lidbetter here, sports editor of the Suburban, with a fresh edition of Judgement Calls. And today I'm pleased to welcome former Montreal Impact player and national team member, Rocco Placentino, who has a very special project going to help out the EMSB students stay active. And he is also technical director of the St Laurent Soccer Club. So we're going to be talking about a few things because Rocco wears many different hats. Rocco, thank you for joining me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Now, let's talk about this with the EMSB. You're going to be working Zoom workouts to keep the kids moving. Now, how did this come about, and what are you doing with that?
So last year in 2019, near the beginning of the year, Mr. Michael Cohen from the EMSB contacted me saying that, you know, he wanted me to be one of the ambassadors for physical literacy. So I was honored, and of course, being a former student at, Gerald McShane and Lester B. Pearson, I thought it was a fantastic idea to, give back to school. They gave me a lot growing up, so I said it was a good idea to give back. Then the whole pandemic came about, COVID-19 really put things aside. And in the last month and a half, you have a bit more time to think and be creative. So I reached out to Michael 2 weeks ago, and I said, listen, I would like to start a little project. And when I told him what it was, is, the principle of this project is for kids to stay active and busy. And, I feel that they don't do enough. I have 2 kids of my own, and my son has a lot of energy, so I'm not worried about him, but my daughter has less energy. So it's important to keep them active. Even if it's 10, 15 minutes a day of movement, it's really good for their mental and physical health. So I told him I would want to, I do work in St Laurent, right, with Soccer St Laurent. There is a couple of EMSB schools there. I'm very familiar with Garden View. I have a lot of my players that go to that school. And through Michael and Gaetano, the principal of Garden View, we came up with a project where I will be doing every Thursday 15-minute Zoom session with the students that would be in their classrooms with their smart boards. No need to have a lot of space. It's going to be on place movement, and that's it. So they agreed, and I'm volunteering my time. I think it's something that I need to do. I think it's super important. So I said, why not? And if we could expand it to other schools, for me, it'd be my pleasure for sure.
And also, you've created a simple workout where the kids don't need anything special to do it, and they can be encouraged to continue this on at home. And especially with the holiday break coming up too, a chance for them to stay active and maybe less screen time.
100%. They'll still get their screen time, but they'll be doing it on a workout, right?
That's right.
It's very simple stuff. They don't even need shoes. They stay on their spot. We'll be moving our arms, moving our neck, and moving our legs, and just getting your blood flowing. And I think that even if you do that 10, 15 minutes a day, whether you're 7 years old or 13 years old or 10 years old or even 50 years old, it could benefit everybody for sure.
And this is, I guess, an offshoot of something that you had already started as being technical director. I understand you've been reached out to your players. I think there's like 2,200 players in soccer St Laurent, and you've been able to have some training sessions since the in-person ones were verboten, cut down.
Yes. So during the first wave, the first week we were shut down, I believe it was the 12th of March. Right away, my brain started thinking, and for me, I think a priority was to keep our members active and keep them motivated, right? Because we didn't know what we were going into. So we did over 70 videos on YouTube, where I would go live, and I would do a workout of 35-40 minutes, which was very beneficial for myself also. So I was staying active. and it just kept on growing. And we used to have, 300, 400, 500, 600 views. The only thing with YouTube was I didn't get to see who was doing it, right? And I'm a type of person that I like to motivate whoever's in front of me. So what we did with the club is 4 weeks before going out to the real soccer field, we did Zoom sessions where we would see the players, right? So we were able to correct them. If they weren't lifting their knees high enough, we could say, hey, Michael, come on, lift your knees, or whatever the case was. So it was very successful. For the Zoom training, there was a little fee because I had to have my staff involved, which at the end of the day, it was something very interesting for my staff because it got them being involved once again. And we had over 350 registrations. So it was a big success. And now, fast forward wave number 2, we did the same thing. We did a couple of YouTube lives, and now we're starting. Actually, tonight we're starting our Zoom training, and hopefully it won't be for so many weeks, but it's the best we can do right now.
That has to be the hope. As January 11th, apparently sports should be able to come back, and while the Zoom thing is good, I guess it's also psychologically and emotionally, it's great for the players to see their friends and their coaches in person and do that training, whatever form it takes.
100%. It's right now, being a child is very difficult. And, when I tell my daughter that my mom is coming over to give us some pasta or whatever the case is, she's doing somersaults, right? So imagine when they see their own friends and their teammates and their coaches. It's honestly, it's very sad what's going on. But like I said, we got to be positive, and we just got to strive to make things positive. That's it.
And also, as a former professional player with the Impact, how strange do you think that would have been this year, playing in the bubble without that fan support, and having to just play the game and just focus on playing?
So there's 2 different takes on this. When you play at home, you're playing in front of your home crowd, your friends, your family, all those crazy Montreal supporters. And that's what gives you a lot more, motivation to do well, right? Mm-hmm. And then on the flip side, when you go play away in stadiums where there's, they're booing you and you just want to prove them wrong by, scoring a goal or getting an assist or getting a result on the road. Of course, that part is something I live. I never was part of, being part of a bubble, even though when I was in Italy in 2004, I played with a club where due to some confrontation with fans, we had to play 6 of our home games closed doors with no fans. So I did kind of live it, and you got to motivate yourself. It's not the same. So you got to be creative of, before the game, listening to your music, making sure you're focused, and it's very tough. But at the end of the day, when you're a professional athlete, you have no choice to figure it out because you get paid to do that.
A lot of use of visualization, as they say, with the athletes, focusing on that, what they're going to do, what they're going to finish up with.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. And it's also got to be tough because we're on the national teams representing Canada. It has to be tough for these athletes as well because the big tournaments were taken away from them. Now they're going to reinstate, and they have to train and be ready to play the best in the world.
For countries like Canada that are not top tier of let's say national teams, it's going to be tough for sure because they don't get to see each other as much. Already was tough because all the Canadian national team players play all over the world, so meshing them together, when they used to have these exhibition games was a lot easier to put something together. Now, with everything being canceled, and you got to be careful with the travel and this and that, it's a lot more challenging for sure.
Well, I want to thank you for being here. And listen, with all those sessions you're going to be doing for the students and for your players, you must be in good enough shape to make a comeback.
You know what? I could get probably 20, 25 minutes a game if I continue at this rate.
Well, listen, it's a great program. I wish you much success with it. I look forward to seeing you guys out on the pitch in the spring and covering the sports live like we got to do a bit of before they closed things down with 2 weeks to go in the season. But this is Mark Lidbetter for Judgment Calls, and my judgment calls on this one: better days are ahead. Everybody stay active, no matter what your age is. You don't have to be an elementary school student. You can be a senior. Get up, walk, march, do something, be active. It's great for the mind. It's great for the body. Until next time, this is Mark Lidbetter. You know where to find me, sports@thesuburban.com. Everybody, take care.